It's late at night. You walk down a dark alley. Steam shoots from the grates below your feet. Somewhere in the distance, a Studebaker blares its horn. You hear the sound of mismatched couples arguing from the apartments above. They discuss economic class, disguise and secrecy, whose turn it is to feed the leopard. Slowly out from the shadows, the silhouette of a woman approaches. She reaches into her coat pocket. You flinch as she pulls out a rubber chicken. You hear static of a popular radio program and realize that you're listening to the Screwball Comedy Hour. Coming to you from the Summit City, home of the electric refrigerator and the astronaut George Taylor, it's the Screwball Comedy Hour, an off-the-cuff sketch, improv, and stand-up comedy show happening right here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I'm your host, Joe Dees, and with me is my flawless co-host, president and owner of the Humor Association, a local 501c3 nonprofit organization, Gina Chiapazzi. Gina, how are you?
I am wonderful as always, Joe. Thank you. I've got some questions about astronaut George Taylor.
Yeah?
Are you talking about Charlton Heston's character from the movie Planet of the Apes?
I am.
I thought so. So we're counting fictional characters now?
You know, I've been trying to get Jefferson Public School on the National Register of Historic Places as the place that taught history's first time-traveling astronaut how to write. But it just keeps getting rejected, Gina, year after year, and I just don't understand why, you know?
Well, Joe, I do have some good news for you.
Yeah, what's that?
As you know, it's our inaugural show right here on WELT 95.7, and today also happens to be the birthday of Fort Wayne's most famous movie star, Carole Lombard.
Yes, a real Fort Wayne legend.
Yes, and every year we at the Humor Association lobby the city of Fort Wayne to proclaim that October 6th officially be known as Carole Lombard Day. So I'm happy to say, Happy Carole Lombard Day, Joe.
Happy Carole Lombard Day to you too, Gina.
And in celebration of this legendary star of the golden age of Hollywood, all of tonight's sketches and improv games will be a memory of the queen of screwball comedies.
That's right. Our three soon-to-be famous games, Stranger on a Train, Canal Fatale, and Les Old Trading Post, will all be themed in honor of the life and legacy of Miss Jane Alice Peters, or better known to the world as the woman Clark Gable got to marry, Carole Lombard. Here in the WELT studio with us tonight, we have our good friend Tony Gennaro, who will be participating in the Canal Fatale sketch. We'll also be interviewing Fort Wayne stand-up comedian Cam Cooper, and improv actor and public school teacher Joe Sullivan will be stopping by for our end-of-the-night improv nightcap game, Fancy Fortune Cookies. It's going to be a busy hour, so let's get started. And so we begin tonight's episode with Strangers on a Train.
All aboard!
Okay, so the rules for this improv game are simple. Joe, you and I will be boarding the famous Pittsburgh, Fort Wayne, and Chicago railway line that first opened in 1856. It would later extend all the way to New York City by 1912 and stay in operation in Fort Wayne until 1990. But that's not important right now. What is important is that in this game, you and I have never met before. I'll be playing a predetermined character, and it's your job to figure out my profession and the reason I'm riding this train before we reach our destination, which is always
Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's right.
All right, so now that we know the rules, can we have a little backstory, please?
Absolutely. So I'd like to work my way backward for this one and move forward after.
Okay, very cinematic. I am ready.
So people probably don't know this, but Carole Lombard was a feminist, an activist, and swore like a sailor. She spent her last days last Christmas season raising money and selling war bonds as America prepared for our entry into World War II. On Christmas Eve 1941, Bing Crosby sang White Christmas for the first time ever on the airwaves of NBC's Kraft Music Hall, and Carole had just wrapped up filming what would be her last movie, To Be or Not to Be, a black comedy co-starring comedian Jack Benny. The next day, Christmas Day, her husband and Hollywood socialites gathered together to host a major party for enlisted soldiers. The year before, on December 29, 1940, another Christmas season, Carole and her husband, actor Clark Gable, secretly arrived at Washington, D.C.'s Union Station by train for her first visit to the nation's capital. The press was not made aware of their trip, so they could enjoy her first time in Washington. The couple visited the U.S. Capitol, the Washington Monument, and the Jefferson Memorial. But their most memorable experience was visiting President Franklin Delano Roosevelt in the Oval Office and sitting live while he gave his most famous fireside chat radio speech ever. It was the speech where the president urged Americans to fight against the Nazis and reminded us that we must be the great arsenal of democracy. In mid-January 1942, Carole put together a war bonds fundraiser in her home state of Indiana to support America's involvement in the war. She was only supposed to raise $500,000. She ended up raising over $2 million. As a gag, when Carole left her husband at home and traveled out of Los Angeles by train, she placed a mannequin in her bed to keep him warm at night. But after her successful Indianapolis haul, she won a coin toss against her mother, who would not want her to fly, and booked an early flight home to surprise Clark Gable early. So there you have it, Joe. If you're paying attention, I gave you several clues.
I'm sure I picked up on none of them, but alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Strangers on a Train.
It's 1973. A professionally dressed woman with a heavy briefcase enters the train. It's a chilly afternoon and the seat is cold to the touch. Sitting across from her is a, let's call him, simple man.
Hey.
Relax, it's your character.
Why doesn't it feel that way?
He's holding a Christmas album in his hands, which is strange considering Christmas was over 12 days ago.
Don't you just love the holidays? I just can't even seem to let them go.
I'm not a fan of this time of the year. Today, especially.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, this is going to be a long train ride. Say, where are you coming from?
DC.
Very cool. Why do you have that big briefcase right there?
Shouldn't you be guessing these?
Normally I would, but you see, I'm just a simple man.
Fair enough. It's a typewriter, if you must know.
A typewriter, you say? Could have spooled me. Don't worry about me. I'm just ribbing ya. Get it? Ribbon? You know, because it's a typewriter?
Yes.
So you said you hate the holidays, huh? You mind telling me why?
I suppose it's perfectly normal to tell a stranger your most traumatic life experiences, so why not?
That's the holiday spirit.
Yeah. So I grew up in New York City, and my dad took me to see the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center when I was 5 years old.
Oh, yeah? With the ice skating and that big golden statue guy?
Prometheus.
God bless you.
No, never mind. Anyway, my dad is a big procrastinator, and even though I begged him for weeks, he didn't take me to go see the tree until the day they were taking it down, which was exactly 50 years ago today.
And what is today's date exactly?
Wow, you really are a simple man. Anyway, they were moving the tree and they lost control of it and it fell.
Oh, and it killed him?
No, it cracked the ice.
Oh, and he drowned?
No, I'm not sure that's possible. It crushed him, and doctors only gave him 48 hours to live after that.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, he died in the hospital 47 hours and 59 minutes later.
Because he was a...
procrastinator, yeah. But since I came from such a wealthy family, we were able to spare no expense on his funeral.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, we filled it with everything he ever loved. Calling birds, turtle doves. He loved music, so we had Pied Pipers, drummers drumming, ladies dance, lords leaped. He loved fowl, too, so there was swans and geese and...
Were the geese a laying?
They were.
I remember now. Today's the 12th day of Christmas.
12th night for the properly educated, but yes. And let me tell you something, friend. That day, 50 years ago, that day I had an epiphany.
I see what you did there.
I realized that I hated Christmas trees. God! I could watch each and every Christmas tree burn if I could. And I'm powerful enough. I can do it. I can. And I do. I could travel this entire country watching every Christmas tree burn to the ground and tell the world all about it.
So you're the world's richest news anchor?
Yeah, I film all my stories with a typewriter.
Okay. So you're a wealthy beatnik then?
It's 1973. There are no beatniks.
Holy 12 days of Christmas, you're Batman.
I know you're a simple man, but like I said, it's 1973, of course.
Of course. Why do you think I have this afro, these sideburns, and I'm rocking these Christmas-themed bell-bottom pants?
Yes, all the latest fashion. You know, they try to tell me we have better things to print, like Watergate or Pong. Actually, Pong is amazing. Have you played it?
I have not.
Anyway, I don't care how deep Mark Felt's throat is or what Bob Woodward has to say. When you own the paper, you pick the stories people read. And the people will read about the death and destruction of every Christmas tree that ever was.
I got it. So you run the Washington Post.
That's right. Katharine Graham, first female Fortune 500 CEO, first woman elected to the board of Associated Press, future Pulitzer Prize winner, and proud feminist.
Nice to meet you, Simple Joe. Say, who's Mark Felt?
Forget I said that.
Noted. So I have to ask, and forgive me, I'm just a simple man, but if you're so powerful and you have a major publication to run, why are you traveling to Fort Wayne, Indiana?
Well, I heard through the grapevine, or Reuters, whatever you want to call it, that a Fort Wayne tradition at McMillan Park is coming to an end, and I just have to see it with my own eyes and, report on it so I can write this trip off on my taxes. God, it's great being rich.
They're cutting down the town's last pine tree.
But is this the Lorax? Some would say that I'm burning a lot of money just to come here. But that doesn't matter to me. You can't get fired from the company that you control.
Well, that's a hot take.
Isn't it? I promised my staff I'd spin the article about how the whole thing is part of a clean air and environmentally friendly campaign. But I'm not going to miss watching the last time so many of them, so many of them go up in flames.
Oh, I've got it. It's the last burning of the city's Christmas trees.
That's right. January 6th was a Fort Wayne holiday tradition known as the Burning of the Greens. Every 12th night, to celebrate the beginning of the Epiphany, people donated their Christmas trees to burn in McMillan Park for a citywide bonfire attended by thousands of people. Local high school bands would perform, and people often sang and performed other acts of merriment.
Acts of merriment?
Acts of merriment. Although a nationwide event, the burning of the trees fell out of favor across the country in 1970 because of air quality and environmental concerns. The last McMillan Park event actually happened in 1972, but I changed it to 1973 for the story to throw some Watergate in there for you. Full disclosure.
Katharine Graham would be very proud of your journalistic integrity.
She would.
And so our passengers depart. No longer unfamiliar, but bonded together as they step off the platform and into the city. As the moon shines high in the dark dead of night, we thus conclude, Strangers on a Train. So, Gina.
Yes, Joe.
As you stated at the start of the show, we're celebrating the birthday of Fort Wayne legend comedic actress and, at one time, Hollywood's highest paid female star, Carole Lombard.
We are, and if you're listening to this live, it's Carole Lombard's birthday, and officially Carole Lombard Day, right here in her hometown, Fort Wayne, Indiana.
So we do a segment here on the Screwball Comedy Hour where we play old comedy tracks, songs or spoken performances, and we call that comedy deep cuts. These audio tracks, usually recorded on old 78 RPM records, are historical records of what people thought was funny in the early days of sound, and sometimes they get a little weird.
A little weird?
True, I might be putting things lightly. Anyway, I thought we'd start with comedy's first million-selling record.
Platinum?
Platinum, before that was even a thing.
It had to have been a lot harder to sell 1 million records back then when they were a fraction of the population we are today.
Exactly, so let me give you a little backstory.
Of course, it's what we do.
It's what we do. So, the year is 1923. OK Records, spelled O-K-E-H, is a major label in the United States. They're famous for recording blues and jazz songs, especially by black singers, and selling them to the mainstream, which was actually legendary of them at the time. Although OK is a variation spelling of the standard word okay, it was actually the initials of the label's founder, Otto Karl Erich Heidemann.
Let me take a wild guess. He was a German.
How'd you know?
Did he go on to work on the H-bomb later?
He did not. But among the label's many diverse artists, which included Louis Armstrong, Mamie Smith, and later even Little Richard, was the Italian-American musician Russ Columbo. Columbo would be accidentally shot in the eye by his friend,
Yikes.
a photographer named Lansing Brown Jr. on September 2nd, 1934, and he would die at Good Samaritan Hospital in Los Angeles just 6 short hours later.
Well, that took a turn.
Here's what's interesting, Gina. At the time of his death, Columbo was dating a famous starlet by the name of Carole Lombard.
Oh.
The two were even planning on meeting for dinner that same night.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah, imagine how different her life would be had that never happened. Carole Lombard would, of course, end up with Clark Gable later when the two married in 1939. But for all accounts and purposes, she might have married OK recording artist Russ Columbo, who kind of looks like a young Andy Garcia.
So tell me more about this deep cut. Is it a Russ Columbo record?
No, that would make sense. The deep cut in question is famously known as the OK Laughing Record.
The OK Laughing Record?
The OK Laughing Record. And yes, it's exactly as advertised.
Well, let's hear it.
Let's hear it. This is the OK Laughing Record.
Boy, I hope it stops being so somber.
People thought this was funny.
It's very dour. Like, is it a funeral?
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
See, they're laughing.
Okay. Well, oh, that was funny. Like, he did a little burp. Like, it was like a fart, maybe. Everybody likes potty humor. Oh, wait, no, there's another guy. There's two laughing. I think it's the trumpet player, though.
Oh, yeah. It sounds like a horror movie, doesn't it?
It does. Like, I feel like they're watching someone burn alive. Because it's very maniacal. It's a maniacal laugh.
It's sinister.
So yeah, so it is. It's definitely the guy is playing it because you can. That's a haunted house.
This is humor.
Oh, someone burp?
Was that a burp?
That was a burp. But the question is it him or her?
Oh, there's the toot.
There's the toots.
Wow. To be a fly on that wall.
Right. They must have had some of the giggly juice. I think that's what the slang was back then for spirits.
Absinthe.
Right. Okay, she breathed. I was getting nervous she wasn't breathing.
So people went to the record stores. Well, they didn't have record stores back then. They went to like
the shop.
Yeah.
Sears.
Yeah, to the repairman's corner store and picked up the OK Laughing Record. Give me a copy of the OK Laughing Record, mister.
I mean, I'll give them this. It's definitely true to life. I guess I just assumed it was
You know people who laugh for just 3 minutes?
No, true to life.
No backwards while someone plays a trombone.
Very poorly, by the way.
Maybe that's what's funny.
No, I mean, it's a laughing record. It's just laughing, so they're not lying.
Right. Yeah,
I just assumed there'd be jokes. But I guess the instrument is a joke. 1 million copies, though.
What if the steak is cold? What if the coffee jar isn't? Turn on the OK Laughing Record.
Wait, why would the coffee jar be cold?
That was the marketing campaign.
I feel like there's so much about the 1920s we don't know. Like, see?
Oh, there's another snort.
No, that was a belch. He's burping. So they must be drinking.
That was comedy's first $1 million record.
Man, take me back to the 20s.
Far cry from Richard Pryor.
Ain't that the truth?
Hi, I'm Tony Gennaro, and you're listening to Community Radio 95.7 FM, WELT LP, Fort Wayne.
So, for this next piece, we have a special guest in studio with us, Tony Gennaro. Tony will be performing our soon-to-be popular sketch, Canal Fatale, which introduces our lovable, recurring character, Jack Henney. So, without further ado, myself, Joe, and Tony present for your listening pleasure.
On February 22nd, 1832, construction began on the longest canal ever built in North America. Known as the Wabash and Erie Canal, the 460-mile-long shipping route provided traders with access from the Great Lakes and the East Coast all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. A bustling town in northeast Indiana called Fort Wayne was the canal's highest point above sea level, giving it the nickname the Summit City, a name it still uses to this day. Carole Lombard grew up at 704 Rock Hill Street, a home that overlooks the St. Mary's River, and one that's just a stone throws away from the famous old aqueduct that carried the canal over the St. Mary's on its way to the landing in downtown Fort Wayne. When the canal permanently closed in the 1870s, children used the old aqueduct as a popular swimming area during long hot summers until it was torn down in 1883. Carole Lombard left for California as a small child in 1914, and she landed her first screen role at just 12 years old. Before becoming the highest paid actress in all of Hollywood, Carole worked her way up the Los Angeles ladder as a Max Sennett bathing beauty. The Sennett bathing beauties were a bevy of women who often performed comedy in bathing costumes during the silent film era. They were the brainchild of the king of comedy at the time, Max Sennett, who also created the popular Keystone Cops. Later in her career, Lombard would credit Sennett for teaching her humor and comedy at an early age. She would live the rest of her life effortlessly making people laugh. And so we celebrate the Max Sennett bathing beauties in this episode of Canal Fatale.
It's 1928. In an attempt to turn a failing campaign around, presidential candidate Al Smith begins a public relations effort supporting clean energy. Known as the Canal Revival, Al Smith takes it upon himself to spend millions of campaign dollars filling hundreds of miles of railroad tracks with river water in order to transport persons and goods across the country using waterways as a natural form of environmentally conscious travel. In order to drum up publicity for his Canal Revival, Al Smith hires a public relations professional and a Max Sennett bathing beauty from Los Angeles to garner national attention. The pair would travel the country by canal boat pulled by a determined beast of burden as they touted the efficiency and quality of water travel over the noisy, smelly, terrain-destructive alternative called the locomotive. The beauty would also pose for publicity pictures in skimpy outfits while tossing around a beach ball. None of this story is true.
I hate to be a downer, but I think this Canal Revival tour isn't such a good idea after all.
What are you talking about? If given the option between a peaceful canoe ride and a noisy, hot train, people are going to pick the canoe every day.
Unless they need to get somewheres in a reasonable amount of time.
A canal is the perfect speed of 6 miles an hour. I can't imagine a train being much faster than that.
65.
See? 6 to 5 miles an hour.
65.
Well, trains are smelly. With all that smoke and soot, nobody likes arriving somewhere and smelling like Santa Claus on Boxing Day.
Did you just make a Boxing Day reference?
I did.
Wow. Anyway, what town are we coming up on? I really want to get this tour over with. I don't know anyone who thought a canal revival was a good idea.
It's the environmentally conscious option, okay? Clean energy. People just have to get used to it. But, let me see. Map says Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Oh, great. I can't wait to get off this stupid canal. You say trains stink. If I have to smell this mangy mule for another hour, I'm gonna lose my breakfast.
Excuse me?
Oh my God! Did it just talk?
It did, and it's a he. Thank you very much for that.
I guess I apologize. Had I known you could talk, I suppose I would have been more polite.
You suppose. It's funny you two bring up Boxing Day. Are you even familiar with the British holiday tradition?
We are...
No.
We are not.
Yeah, I didn't think so. See, Boxing Day is a Christmastide celebration where people, that would be you two, provide gifts to service workers who have assisted them in some fashion. In this case, that would be me, who has been hauling you two and your dumb faces up this canal for 300 miles. It's no picnic for me either, sir.
Well, I've got a lot of questions, but I'll start with, what would a mule want for Christmas?
See that? That right there. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Pardon me?
Why don't you gift yourself a proper education, sir? Because I'm not a mule, you moron. I'm a hinny.
A what's that?
A hinny. Anybody with a pair of eyes could see that a mule is robust with long ears, and look at me, I am much more refined, and I have short ears.
Very refined indeed.
I didn't even know a hinny was a real thing.
Well, paint me shocked.
Look, Mr...
Jack.
Mr. Jack.
That's right, Jack Hinny.
You're a talking donkey named Jack, and you're coming at me for not knowing you're a hinny?
Excuse me. Excuse me. My mother was a donkey, so you might want to tread on that towpath just a little more lightly there, pal. I got no problem chewing that mop you call hair right off your ugly head.
All right. Everybody just calm down. I think we all just got off on the wrong foot, that's
Huff,
all.
huff.
Or hoof.
Huff!
Or hoof, if that's what you want to call it.
It is. It is what I would.
So, Jack the Henny.
It's just Jack Henny. There's no the. Jack is my given name. Henny is my family name.
So your father was a henny then?
No, my father was a horse. Hennies cannot have offspring. Where did you even get your education?
Sorry, I must have forgotten to take donkey ed before getting my master's in public relations at Notre Dame.
PR, isn't that ironic?
So, wait. I have a question.
Let me guess. You want to know how I learned to talk? How novel.
No. Actually, I'd rather not know anything about those cursed Black Forest magic creatures that you are.
Mm-hmm.
I'd just like a little bit of clarification on how a Henny is your family name when your father was a horse and your mother was a donkey.
Wow, intrusive much? I took the name Henny after I had my son, if you must know.
Wait. You said hennies can't have offspring.
Wait. You said Hennies can't have offspring. I adopted. That's my son right there.
Oh.
Where? I haven't seen any other animals this whole trip.
Animals. Wow. Boy, aren't we close-minded. The man who's been walking with me this entire time, that's Barnabas. That's my son Barnabas.
Barnabas? Our guide? He's your son?
Howdy.
Why didn't you tell us you had a talking Henny for a father?
Reckon never crossed my mind.
This is insane.
No. You want to know what's actually insane? Covering 1,000 miles of railroad tracks with 4 feet of water in order to provide people with a clean energy option. That's insane.
Ew.
Forcing Hennies.
How long until we can get off?
Forcing Hennies to pull a 15-ton canal boat for hours without pay, mind you, without pay.
They don't give you oats?
Yes, they give me oats. Of course they give me oats. But that's not the point.
Then what is the point?
The point is, people want to be train conductors. They get to wear striped hats and cool neckerchiefs. They have pocket watches and get to blow horns for fun. Meanwhile, we Hennies, we have to pull a 15-ton canal boat for hours without pay.
You said that already.
Without pay.
Don't you feel like you're kind of beating a dead horse at this point?
I'm sorry. What did you just say?
You just keep saying the same thing over and over.
No. That's not what you said. Why don't you repeat what you just said?
Why would you say that?
Say what? Beating a dead horse? He is.
God. Do you even know what that term even implies, sir?
Oh my God! I thought you went to Notre Dame for PR, man.
I don't even understand what's going on anymore.
Now arriving the Mack Center Canal Revival Boat.
Thank God.
You and me both, buddy.
Why are those people wearing white dresses and daisies in their hair?
Oh, no, they think this is a different kind of revival. Great.
Is that a tambourine? Get it away from me! Get it away!
What's going on with Jack Henny?
He's a pair of tambourines. They what killed the Pappy.
A tambourine?
Hey, Jack, look out! You're backing up to the edge of the bridge.
Oh God, he's gonna fall off.
Get that thing away from me! Go on now, get!
Look out, Jack Henny, wait!
Excuse me, Chet Crumweiler, Journal-Gazette. Which one of you two is the Max Senate girl? That would be me.
Thank you so much, Tony. We'll hear more from you later in the show, and I hope you like fortune cookies.
Hi, I'm Cameron Cooper, and you're listening to Community Radio 95.7 FM, WELT-LP, Fort Wayne.
Hi.
We are here in studio with the legendary Fort Wayne comedian Cam Cooper. Cam, how you been?
Legendary.
Local comedian.
Fort Wayne legend.
It's kind of putting it lofty. I'm doing all right. You know, just living one day at a time, you know, getting this comedy thing going, getting this, just everything going. You know, just living one day at a time. You know, comedy is starting to pick up a little bit more. I'm getting more gigs and stuff like that. You know, But saying you a legendary comedy in Fort Wayne is like saying you the best astronaut in Fort Wayne.
You know,
I think there was one, wasn't there?
there was one. Have you ever seen Planet of the Apes? He actually went to
There's
Nebraska
like
Elementary School.
25. There's like 28 million of them. So
I don't think he was an astronaut.
Yeah, he
though.
was. Remember, because he
Charlton
crashed out
Heston,
into
yeah.
the future.
No, I'm okay.
I don't know enough. I
I
haven't
thought
seen
that's
Charlton
I
Heston,
meant like
yeah.
a real astronaut.
Real
Not
astronaut.
like a TV
Real
astronaut.
astronaut. Yeah.
Tom Hanks born here.
That's a lie.
I play an astronaut at home, but
There are no real astronauts in Fort Wayne. Cam is right.
Yeah.
We fact
Fact
checked
check
that.
that.
Did you know that Eminem's dad lived here?
He died here too.
Yeah, he died here. Yeah.
That's how people found out he lived here. It wasn't until after he died.
Right.
They're like, oh, that makes
Hey.
sense.
Except for his neighbors, they'd always say.
Who thought you would come to Fort Wayne and escape fatherhood? It's just-
So Cam. How long have you been doing comedy?
this be going on year 11.
Nice.
Yeah.
So in 11 years, how has comedy changed?
Big thing is like when I first started, there was like a lot more mics, a lot more self starters, but now it's because Summit's here is like feel like that's the big thing. That's the big thing that's holding everything together right now. So like a lot of people feel intimidated by Summit City Comedy Club, but it's a good thing we have it because you know there's bigger names that we got coming here and stuff like that. Like Mike Epps was here not too long ago. And
Now you are a house comic there at Summit City Comic Club.
yeah,
correct?
house comic. Yeah.
So if people don't know what a house comic is, like how would you describe that?
Well, we get drink specials because they know we're comics.
That's
and we're
all I
poor.
need.
That's what,
Sign me
that's
up.
basically what it is. We just get discounts because we comics and we poor.
I don't have any money for
at
you.
open mics.
I don't have any money for you, but you can have a beer.
You can have
Yep.
2 free beers.
That's how you get paid in comedy when you get started. It's like drink tickets. Like people wonder why comedians have so many vices. You know,
I
we
know.
get paid in drink tickets.
No, it's true. I love when people first get started in comedy and they'll play anywhere. And I remember playing a show where they forgot to turn the disco ball off. So I'm just up on stage and these lights are just going around my body. I knew that I had made it then.
I always like it when the crowd doesn't know there's a
they're-
comedy show going on.
Even while it's going on.
Even while it's going on, they're like, who's that guy up there?
That's literally every bar show that you ever
It
go
always
to.
is.
I remember, man, we did an open mic, and it was when the Cubs were doing won the World Series. It was that night, but we still had the
Why?
open mic.
Why would you do that?
That's what I said too. Like we need to cancel
'Cause
it.
it's
Ain't
an
nobody
open
gonna pay-
mic.
Yeah, it's open mic. Ain't nobody paying attention no way. And I was like, that we thought we were killing it. We thought that when they were cheering for us, like, yeah, I'm killing this. I'm ready to go to L.A. now.
Yeah.
Some money.
So you just happen to hit a punchline every time something happened in the game?
How
something
long
like
was
that.
your set? Because that's a long game. He says up there 3-4
It was,
Three and a half
it was
hours.
an open mic, so it was all of us.
really dragging it out. And like, so watch.
You gotta
While
do
you're
that.
recording
watch
it?
it.
You gotta
watch
do
it.
this. You gotta do a lean in. I said the aristocrats.
Yeah! They don't laugh, they just get hyped.
Yeah.
I really like my joke about dogs.
Oh, believe me, I've been to comedy shows like that where they it's a bringer show and then the dude just hypes up. He's not saying anything funny. That's another thing with comedy too, man. It's like really one of those things. It's very subjective, but like it's subjective in a way that was like as far as you want to make it in the fame realm,
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's like people gravitate to who they want to gravitate to. That's why a lot of these TikTok stars and Instagram dudes are making it big, and I've opened up for some of them, but you know, it's just like that now. You know, with comedy, if you want to make it, you know, you got to have a following, in a sense. Yeah.
So you've opened for a TikTok star?
Yeah.
Who
That
was
seems
it?
like that's got to be an awful.
It was some dude I ain't never heard of. I ain't gonna put him on blast, but like I ain't gonna. Like, it's some guy I never heard of. But like you know,
Was
it
he funny though?
Subjectively.
in my opinion, it was kind of one of those things. Like he was making like those jokes that like everybody kind of makes. You know, it's like
Yeah.
stereotypical
So he didn't write
bullshit.
a set.
Take
he
my
just,
wife, please, that kind of stuff.
If you like things that aren't funny, he was hilarious.
That would be
Who's
so
here from out of
frustrating,
town?
though. Like to be.
That would be because like you worked all hard on your material. Oh, I opened up for one guy where it was like he just did he told jokes in between, but he showed like a whole bunch of video clips of just random.
Oh my
stuff he
God.
Of his grandma?
Of other comedians.
He's like, look at
did.
this funny.
It should have been
He
that.
said, I stitched them.
Is that Carlos Mencia?
Oh,
speaking.
Didn't you open for him,
I
too?
did open up for him. I did open up for him. Yeah.
Did you keep track of how many jokes he stole?
Like, no, man.
Did he steal one of your jokes afterwards?
You open for him, and then he takes that same
If I
joke.
see a video of him doing Michael Jackson or driver safety, I'll be like, oh, man. Like, I made it. He stole my stuff.
That's how you know you made it. And when somebody
When
steals
Carlos
your
Mencia
joke.
steals your joke?
Not specifically
anybody,
him.
really.
Anybody bigger than you steals your joke. You're like, that's it. I got the moxie.
Well, Dave Chappelle talked about that, in that one special. It was like, I could just take it from you because he was a young comedian starting out. And a dude took his joke. He's like, it was like when they wouldn't pay him for Chappelle show, when they put it on Netflix or whatever. He was talking about that.
Okay.
He said it felt just like that when he was starting out in comedy. Somebody took his joke because he's a more experienced dude. He's like, I could just take it. You can't do nothing about it.
I suppose that's true, I guess.
Man.
That's horrifying.
Comedy's like working in a factory. It really is. It's
How
like
so?
Seniority is like, I can do whatever I want.
So the MC is the he'd be like the foreman, right?
No, he would be. No, the MC is like the guy who rats on everybody to the foreman.
To get the promotions.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of that in comedy too. A lot of
Oh yeah.
Oh, we all know about that.
That's just anything in general, but like there's a lot of that in comedy. I'm not gonna put anybody on blast, nothing.
Not gonna spill the tea.
Yeah.
So Cam, where do you want to see comedy in Fort Wayne head in the future?
Really, we need another club. You know what I mean? We just got Summit right now. We got the other club too, the Fort Wayne Comedy Club. But we need at least 3 of them. Like a kind of a 3-prong, so we can get more mics going around like that. And because people respond more so to establishments, open mics aren't what was doing it. I would like to see another open mic somewhere.
That's a good point. Yeah, people are weary of open mics.
It's hard to establish a good one.
Also, it's hit or miss the comedians.
Yeah, especially because open mic, anybody can go up there. It's like open gym. It's like really is. The open mic is like somebody's first time or veterans who've been doing it for a long time. So, you get a toss up anywhere. And people are just working out jokes. So, so like they don't be polished all the way yet. You're seeing the process. That's people
true.
forget about
That's true.
at open mics. But yeah, in the future, I want to see like maybe at least one more club open up so we can have like a 3-prong. We can have like, you can go here. If you can't make it to Summit, you can go to Fort Wayne Club or you can go to this other club we got going on, something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's just kind of what I'm seeing. Is to say like, oh, we're gonna take over the whole gambit of the Midwest. Cause that's very much cap.
They don't do that anymore, right?
No,
Like,
definitely
that's
not.
not
No.
a thing.
Territory days are gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to come see you, Cam, perform here in Fort Wayne, where could we find you?
I'm always at the open mic on Wednesdays at Summit. I'm performing Summit most of the time. We have another group called Cryptic Initials. I want to plug. We put on shows every month or so at Wondercomer. Shout out to Cryptic Initials,
Okay.
Isaiah Gray, Clint Spar, Lynette Thomas, Prince Koba, just all the team for there. So that's usually where you'll see me. I'm on Instagram as CoopGoop260BOI, or you just go on Facebook, just Cameron Cooper, just how it sounds with the E, not the apostrophe like the rapper.
Or hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Oh no, please don't. Had enough of that during elementary school.
That's true. Huh?
So Cam, if somebody wanted to get started in comedy, like what would you recommend
that's
they
a
do?
professional question.
Ooh, that very much is. I'll say don't do it. Too many of y'all already. No, if you want to just for Summit, you have to sign up on openmicer.com for the open mic. Sign up for a month in advance because they like to control the mic, so there's not too many people
That makes sense.
making it too chaotic or anything like that. So if you want to try it, sign up openmic.com. Go to the last page, Summit City Comedy Club. You can sign up in advance over there, in a month in advance, And another thing, like, write your material, practice it in front of people if you want to, like, really do it, so you can hear how it sounds, you know what I mean? And one thing, your first set is not always going to be the best set. Just that type of nugget of information.
Mine was. It's just gotten worse ever since.
Right. Peaked early.
Cam, thank you so much for stopping by. We'll hear more from you later in the show, and I hope you like fortune cookies. All right, our final sketch of the night takes you back to a time before this town was American, a time before this town was British, a time after this town was native, and that specific time between all of those when this town was French.
It's a real time, but yes, very specific.
This soon-to-be famous sketch, known as Les Old Trading Posts, remembers a forgotten Hollywood trailblazer and a very good friend of Carole Lombard, William Haynes.
William Haynes was a leading actor of the 1920s and a box office draw. In 1926, he met James Shields in New York, and the two soon began living together. William Haynes would quit acting after being blacklisted for his relationship with Shields, and the two would begin a career together as interior designers. Joan Crawford would become Haynes' first client, and after his impeccable interior design skills were the talk of the town, lifelong friend Carole Lombard became his second. Haynes would go on to design and decorate both homes and offices of Hollywood's most elite residents. Famous Haynes clients included Frank Sinatra, Nancy and Ronald Reagan, Barbara Stanwyck, and Claudette Colbert. His designs and collections are still available for sale today. And so we celebrate the life and career of William Haynes in this episode of Les Old Trading Post. It's 1706, and welcome to the Glorious Gate, the only land bridge that connects the New World from New York and Quebec City all the way down to New Orleans and the Gulf of Mexico. Here, the soil is rich, game is abundant, and the weather much better than that of France, which strangely enough on this day is 15 degrees Celsius. Deep in the heart of the Great Black Swamp along the edge of the Namiwa River sits a popular French trading post buried in the wilderness, where locals and passers-through come to gripe and haggle over the price of popular items. Because even in the time of the Great Plague, you can always ask to speak to a manager. The top-selling item, strangely enough, on this day is a beaver-shaped jelly-filled pastry treat. in walks the customer. He is greeted by the greatest salesperson in the history of New France.
Hi, welcome to Les Old Trading Post. Today we've got a special. All onion bottles are BOGO. Buy one, get one half off. Are you getting started early on your La Chandeleur shopping today?
Oh no, I'm actually just killing time until my canoe arrives.
Oh, that's exciting. Are you waiting on the 309 Vincennes or on the 317 New Orleans?
The 317, I think, the NOLA one.
Awesome. Are you visiting family down there?
Oh no, I just got promoted at my job.
Oh, congratulations. What's the position?
Oh, nothing fancy, just third shift swamp watchman.
Huh, that doesn't sound like nothing fancy. That sounds awesome. What do you do?
Well, I kind of just go around the bayou looking for ghost pirates, and if I find any, I give them citations for unauthorized treasure hogging.
Treasure hogging?
Yeah, by law, if a pirate dies, then they've chosen to relinquish their rights to any treasure they may have buried while living.
I don't think they chose to die.
You know, that's exactly what they always say. That and possession is 9/10 of the law.
Oh, so that's why they always linger around the buried treasure.
Oh, no. They literally tried to possess someone's body in order to claim rights to the treasure.
Oh, my.
Yeah, it's annoying. Yeah, so it's really a public nuisance issue more than anything. And the position just randomly opened up, so I said, you know what, Pierre? Just apply. You miss 100% of the musket shots you don't take. And quite frankly, you probably miss 100% of the musket shots you do also take anyway.
Sure.
So I sent my application, and they got back to me like right away.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I got my response letter in the mail in like just 10 months later.
Holy cow, that's fast.
Right? So really, I'm kind of just finette shopping for furniture for my new apartment down there.
Oh, well, what's your style? Do you like contemporary furnishings, like a modern look, or are you more like a retro guy?
Yeah, I guess I prefer contemporary furnishing. Probably something nice for my magic lantern room, you know? I like to kind of just veg out and binge on all the latest slides.
Gotcha. Well, we've got this Louis XIV lace poof that just arrived this morning. It's a great space saver, and it's ergonomic for today's on-the-go worker.
IDK. That sounds more like something for Curling de Gaulle's moms than my style. Also, isn't King Louis like the longest reigning monarch ever? So I feel like he's kind of tired and played out, don't you think? Do you have anything bigger?
Bigger. Well, what's a magic lantern room without a floor lamp pedestal? This modern design incorporates popular art objects at its base, and it's perfect for like an oil lamp, or it can double as a sculpture stand.
Yeah, but I just recently read something about Isaac Newton talking about lamp pedestals are dangerous for gravity.
Yeah, ever since that guy discovered gravity, everyone's afraid of dropping stuff. But I assure you, the only thing falling here are the great prices. You said you're looking for bigger. How do you feel about elbow chairs?
Not something I usually connect with in my joint. But you could twist my arm.
Aren't you humorous? Well, since elbows aren't your thing, how about this armless tufted chair? It's filled with dodo down.
Yeah, that's not going to fly. I still need something bigger. What do you have for sofas?
Okay, well, we've got this St. Valentine's Day bed. It's a popular seller, and right now it's on clearance. Oh, never mind. Looks like we're sold out.
Well, that's heartbreaking.
Hey, you break it, you buy it. Today's generation, they don't know how good they've got it. When I was their age, I worked 3 jobs: shipbuilder, wig maker, and cobbler. After both of my parents had died in the Great Plague of London. Now all these kids want to do is get famous and discovered playing the lute. It's a disgrace.
Oh, I think that's my canoe. I'd hate to rush you, but what's the biggest thing you've got here?
Let's see. We got a 3-story high royal ebony cabinet, but it's pretty expensive. We do offer a layaway, though. Or you can sign up for the Trading Post credit card and we take 15% off your order today.
Is it pre-assembled? Because I hate when I put in a royal cabinet together and it's missing like a golden crusted handle or something.
So you want to purchase a 3-story high royal ebony cabinet pre-assembled?
That would be ideal. So yeah, I work thirds, so it's going to be hard to have any free time, swimming around chasing ghost pirates. It's pretty tiring.
Wait, you don't have a boat and you have to swim in the bayou?
Yeah.
Aren't you afraid of getting eaten by alligators?
Funny enough, that's how the position opened up. But I'm pretty good at wrestling gators. I figure any ones I catch, I can keep as pets and store them in the royal cabinet while I'm at work. I'm sure they'd love my magic lantern.
I mean, I guess one of the guys in the back could put it together for you.
Last canoe to the Big Easy is leaving now. Great, can you deliver?
Hi, I'm Joe Sullivan, and you're listening to Community Radio 95.7 FM, WELT, LP, Fort Wayne.
All right, Tony. So you'd listen to I played the OK Laughing record for you. You remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yes.
This is actually the original. This is where it came from. This is the Gennett Laughing record.
Wait. Mm-hmm. So there's 2?
There's actually a series of them by several different record companies.
Are they the same people?
Just
no. Different people, different companies.
But it's the same joke. So I wanted your input because apparently there's something funny about this 100 years ago, and I still haven't figured it out. But I wanted to play this one for you because this is the first one, and this one makes a little more sense. And I think you'll understand.
All right, let's hear this.
So you tell me, why is that funny?
Like in today's society, Joe, when people make mistakes, everyone loves to point it out and make fun of them for it. Unfortunately, in the age, I assume this was previous to TikTok. There was no TikToks back
I
then.
can't confirm.
Okay.
I can't confirm.
I would maybe a Vine, pre-Vine even.
It could have been Vine, yeah.
But this was their entertainment. Why not get a little joy out of someone else's misfortune, as it were?
Well, we'll dive deeper into the laughing records.
Let's not.
Hi, I'm Joe Dees, and you're listening to Community Radio 95.7 FM, WELTLP Fort Wayne. Well, we've come to the end of the show, and as is customary here at the Screwball Comedy Hour, we leave you, our listening audience, with our traditional improv nightcap, Fancy Fortune Cookies. Our players include Gina and myself, as well as Tony, Cam, and in the studio with us now is our good friend, improv performer, and public school teacher, Joe Sullivan. The rules are simple. Like the improv game Scenes from a Hat, our players must open up a fortune cookie mid-sentence and read what's inside as though it is part of the conversation.
It approaches midnight on Friday night at another famous Carole Lombard Hollywood dinner party. The guests are filled with food, drinks, and good humor. The hostess had prepared for them her famous menu of cream of mushroom soup, salmon in lime aspic, Cuban chicken with wild rice and puree of peas, and ice cream with marron glacé.
Wait, I've got a question.
Really? Now?
Why does she spell her name C-A-R-O-L-E and not just C-A-R-O-L? Like, it's been bothering me the whole episode.
Ah, good question, Joe.
Thanks.
The Mack Sennett Pie Throwing Academy graduate earned her E on the silver screen. Her first role was in 1921's A Perfect Crime, and in that film she was credited by her birth name, Jane Peters. 4 years later, in Marriage in Transit, the name Carole Lombard appeared, but still with no E. It wasn't until 1930, when a typographical error added the vowel at the end of her name in The Arizona Kid, that Carole earned her famous E. And the rest, as they say, is history. History spelled with a Y, of course.
Fascinating.
You mind if I finish now?
Sure, sorry.
No worries. Where was I? Oh yeah, the menu. The guests are all seated. They're feeling loose and the conversation turns screwy. And for some reason, they just can't stop eating fancy fortune cookies. So, man, those egg rolls were phenomenal. Like, I really wish I could get the recipe for those. I have never had such a delicious egg roll.
So, guys, these egg rolls are making me real nostalgic, and I just wanted you guys to know that hubby's weekend trip was filled with motorboat mamas, and I kid you not. I kid you not. Joe, you know what it reminded me of? You know what these egg rolls remind me of? That time you and I went on that double date with those two adopted Siamese twin chefs. Remember that? Yeah, the one was from Bangladesh. She could make that fantastic dressing. And the other one that their parents adopted her from Brazil. What did she make? What was it? Anyway, yeah, these egg rolls remind me of that. Right, Joe? What do the egg rolls remind you of?
You know, it reminds me of when I had some chicken, because it's not just about the dressing. It's all about that sauce. And that sauce made me remember, fools for scandal swing high, and they always swing low.
Sweet Chariot.
Gina. Oh, yeah. But your ex-husband, that scandal, he got caught with those set of Siamese twins, weren't they? No. Those weren't Siamese twins, sorry. Those were tennis partners. Sorry about that.
That's true.
Too busy motorboating.
Well, I've always said that love before breakfast is like sinners in the sun.
It's kind of like when you go into a kitchen and you drop something like it's hot.
I have.
And if they get an attitude, pop it like it's hot.
Pop it like it's
Or
hot.
sometimes you have to flip it like a pancake.
Tony, you're Hollywood's greatest gossip columnist. Why don't you do us all a favor? We're all here. Why don't you spill the tea about some of Hollywood's hottest couples?
Recently, I heard the gold digger of Weepaw ran away with Smith's pony.
Oh.
No, she didn't.
Oh, yes, she did. Because show folks the girls from everywhere, and I'll show you marriage in transit. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I mean, this could be the motorboat mamas.
Reminds me of my ex-wife. I've been married twice and divorced twice.
That's 3 too many times. But that reminds me, why am I wearing these gold heels?
You tell us.
I think you put on my shoes after we had to take them off to come into the restaurant.
And see those
I'd like-
motorboat mamas?
I'd like to get them back though, because I've got an engagement after this, and I'm really hoping that I always keep my hands across the table when I'm dealing with Dick Turpin.
Jeannie, got to stay away from that Dick Turpin. He is trouble.
Dirty Dick Turpin.
Is that like turtle wax? Because they knew what they wanted and they were made for each other.
You know, I feel like that always happens with the old Turpin.
Yeah, he always finds the right person.
He does.
Cam, wasn't he that guy? Was that Fatty Arbuckle's party that he got busted at?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. The road to glory is a perfect crime.
That's what the judge said to him during his arraignment. And you know what I always say? What do I always say? It pays to advertise.
Well, now I'm a little nervous about my engagement later.
Glory, glory, glory.
He was on Europe's Got Talent.
Don't get jealous. The campus vamp is a matchmaking mama.
He was in Europe?
Yeah.
Was he really?
I don't know how he made it with the travel prices these days, but I guess. You know, this is L.A. He could easily be a serial killer, and we would never know.
Look, I already said it. No more orchids. No man of her own. And nothing sacred.
I'll take that to heart.
That's the last time I saw Ned McCobb's daughter.
On Europe's Got Talent? What was her talent?
Disappearing.
We might have solved the case. It's not even me who's abducted. It's Ned McCobb's daughter. You know, the last time I saw her, she told me that Arizona kid plays fast and loose when we're not dressing.
Tony, what do you think of all this? Is this going to be your next article in Vanity Fair? Please, what do you have to tell us? Please, spill the tea.
Big news. My man Godfrey is a man of the world.
He is a man of the world. I think
Just
I'd rather
like
go
Ned
on.
McCobb's daughter.
I'd rather go on.
She's
my
a woman
engagement.
of the world.
She's a lady of the night.
Lady of the night.
Kind of
yeah.
sneaky.
A sneaky link.
As 1 hour before midnight approaches, the city dies down. Disguises are folded neatly away along with dinner jackets and stockings. Relationships are reconciled, and folks move on to Connecticut until next week. A live band strikes up inside a popular nightclub as the radio signal wanes. Thanks for listening to the Screwball Comedy Hour. See you next time.